It will tell you, for instance, I'm just giving you an example. Somebody who, he's trying to give up chocolates. And then somebody brings a box of chocolates to him. He said, I'll just have one. He opens it up. And he has 1, 2, it's not going to hurt. 3. This is the way the nafs works. And it'll do that again and again consistently. The way to overcome that is through hazm. You say, for instance, and I'll give you an example of somebody who has hazm. It's very rare for people to memorize the Quran after they go into adulthood. It's just not, it's very uncommon in Islam. Because the Quran is very difficult, it takes a lot of effort and work, and it takes consistent mudawama. Shaykh Abdullah, he memorized the Quran after he was in his 20s. But what he did is he made the time between Maghrib and Isha for memorization of Quran. And he would not let anything get in his way of that. Nothing. See, because what will happen is, say you make things, okay, I'm going to use Maghrib and Isha. But then somebody invites you out. And you say, oh, tonight I'll do it. He invited me. It's sunnah to answer invitations, this and that. See, the nafs will do all this. And then you go and do it. And then the next night, see, you've broken your pattern. And what the ulama say, turn your back on studies for a day, it turns its back on you for a week. Turn your back on it for a week, it turns its back on you for a month. And this is why one of the insidious aspects of the 5-day work week, traditionally in the Muslim world, Muslims work 7 days a week. Imam Malik is makruh to take Friday off in Malik's madhab. Muslims didn't have a holiday. Instead of working 8 hours a day, they worked 6 hours a day. So they actually accomplished more by working 7 days a week and had more time every day for their families. What happens in the West is people work 8, 9 hours a day. It takes them an hour to get there and an hour to get back. They end up working about 12 hours a day. You have 16 hours of wakefulness. By the time you get home, you are so exhausted, you can barely say hello to your children. But what happens is you get these 2 days, and what do people do? They sleep till 9, 10 in the morning. See, every day they get up 6:30, 7 o'clock to go to work. On the weekend, that's when they can oversleep. That breaks the patterns. Whereas khairul umur adwamuha wa in qad, the best things are those that are continuous, even if it's a little bit. So that's what he's saying. Have hazm in what you do, even if it's a little bit. What the nafs will do is you'll wake up before Fajr, it'll say pray sunnahs 10 rakats. And then shafa' and witr. So 13 altogether. Or 8 and 2 and 1, 11. Ala al-khilaf. So it'll tell you do that and do long rakats. But then the next day, you don't do that. It's better to do 2 rakats consistently every day than do 8 here, and then for a week you don't do anything, and then like that. That's what he's saying. Be consistent في المبادرة بعد تحقيق المنام. وهذه أمور يوجهها التوفيق ويدفعها الاشتغال بالتدقيق. لأن بساط التوفيق الذي هو الصدق يمنع من التشعب لتوقفه على الحق والحق في كل شخص باعتبار حاله. This is deep psychology, by the way. This man is a psychologist of the highest order. This is somebody who really understands how the nafs works. He said these things that he's giving you will all be aided by tawfiq from Allah. But what will prevent them is being too preoccupied with the details. If you become obsessed with the details. Because the nature of tawfiq, and tawfiq is from sincerity, that's where you get tawfiq from Allah, is that it's something that prevents tasha'ub, all this diversification, لِتُوَقِّفِهِ عَلَى الْحَقِّ, because it's concerned with al-haq, and haq is one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't see the forest for the trees. That's what he's saying. The nature of the nafs is it will obsess you in the details. So you lose sight of what the goal of this is. The goal is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that can give you the openings. And the most important thing about tawfiq is ikhlas. Don't forget that. So the more important than all the details that He's giving you is the sincerity behind it. That is what's really going to make this thing happen. وَالْحَقُّ فِي كُلِّ شَخْصٍ بِاعْتِبَارِ حَالِهِ. And the reality of every person is always with the consideration of his state. شيء واحد يظهر في علومه وأعماله. It's one thing that's going to manifest in what he knows and what he does. وإذا ذكرت ذنوبك فأتبعها بالتفضيل.